Hola. Welcome back to the Yoniswell Podcast. I'm Jordan Otten, and this space is devoted to conversations around nervous system regulation, embodiment, feminine energy, and coming home to safety within ourselves. Today's episode feels especially potent because we are moving into the energy of the Pisces New Moon taking place on March 18th. For some, it is on the 19th, depending on where you are in the world. And in general, new moons are always invitations for renewal. But this Pisces energy carries a particularly sensitive, intuitive, and emotional frequency. For those of you who resonate with evolutionary astrology as a tool for self-awareness, personal growth, and reflection, Pisces energy represents the archetype of the ocean. An ocean where there are no boundaries, no clear boundaries, and a body of water that is abundant and unlimited and vast. It's where tides ebb and flow. It is where we are asked to surrender and trust, especially when we cannot see what is ahead. The Pisces energy reminds us that we are connected to all of nature. It is the micro and the macro, and it is correlated to simplicity. So this is the place where endings and beginnings exist all at the same time. If you picture a breaking ocean wave, you see the moment it forms and the moment it dissolves. This is the energy of completion and rebirth. And as that rebirth emerges, it moves us into Aries season where clarity, intention, and purpose begin to take shape. This is a different kind of Aries energy that we are moving into. And so right now we are entering into the Piscean waters of this new moon. And for some people, this may feel like stepping into unfamiliar territory. The truth is that this energy has not been on the planet in this lifetime. So very likely you may experience what feels like a new inner world, a new awareness, something we have not quite met yet in this life. And another important piece of this energy is the Pisces Virgo axis. And this represents the body. The polarity point to Pisces is Virgo. Virgo is the body, and that Pisces energy, you could think of it as the bridge between your physical experience, the body, and your inner awareness, your connection to your soul, to the universe, to your intuition. And when the body feels calm and supported, it often becomes easier to hear that quieter voice that is your intuition, your inner voice and your inner wisdom. And so during times like this, many people can begin to feel more reflective, more emotional, more connected to their intuition. And sometimes this can translate to overwhelm. And from a nervous system perspective, that can make a lot of sense. So today we're exploring a pattern I often see in high-achieving people, the archetype of the hypervigilant achiever. And we'll talk about why sensitive periods can activate the nervous system and how productivity can sometimes become a strategy for safety, and a few gentle practices that can support your nervous system in returning to a greater sense of balance. I'm here to support you in these areas today, and this is what we will be touching upon in this conversation. When we move through sensitive periods, whether that is a full moon, a new moon, life transitions, or emotional breakthroughs, our nervous system often becomes more perceptive. This is something that we can experience and something that we can feel and witness within ourselves. So, for many people, this could show up as heightened emotions, deep introspection, vivid dreams, feeling more tired or wanting to turn inward. Some may interpret this as isolation or experience this as isolation. And so it's very possible that we can interpret these experiences as something being wrong with us. But sometimes your nervous system may simply be processing and integrating information. In fields like somatic psychology, the body is understood as constantly responding to internal and external cues. Researchers and practitioners such as Peter Levine have explored how the body holds patterns of stress and safety. And in the nervous system, science work like the polyvagal theory developed by neuroscientist Stephen Porges describes how our nervous system is constantly scanning the environment for cues of safety or threat. So when life slows down, when reflection is invited, when emotions rise to the surface, your body may simply be signaling that something is ready to be noticed or felt, confronted. And this aligns beautifully with the energy often associated with Pisces. The Pisces energy is connected to our intuition, emotional depth, surrendering, trust, and spiritual connection. But without support or regulation, that same sensitivity can sometimes lead to overwhelm. And so this is an opportunity to notice and to observe. And it is also why nervous system awareness can be especially supportive during times like this. One of the core teachings inside my work is this: safety changes everything. When your nervous system begins to feel safe, all of a sudden clarity seems to be very present and gradually returns, and your intuition becomes easier to hear. Parts of you are coming online, maybe that you weren't aware or present with in the past. And it's also a time where creativity begins to flow. You step into receiving mode where you're able to hold the container of receiving with discernment. And perhaps emotional waves can move through your body rather than feeling stuck. When the nervous system is operating in survival states, such as fight, flight, freeze, or even fawn, it can be harder to access that deeper inner wisdom. So instead of forcing this sense of clarity, we can begin by creating small moments of what it means to feel safe. And safety can look very simple in your tangible everyday reality. Slowing your breathing, grounding into your body, into the earth, feet on the grass, on sand. It can be becoming present with softening tension between your eyebrows or your shoulders. These little subtle movements, stepping outside and connecting with nature, whatever that looks like for you. For me personally, it's getting on my surfboard and surfing in the ocean. It's also walking on the beach with my dog, or literally placing my feet in grass and grounding in, being present with what that feels like. These small signals of safety begin to tell your body it's okay to relax. And what does relaxing actually feel like in my body? Allowing yourself to embody that, to receive that. And when that happens, your nervous system begins to settle. Something I often see with high achieving people is the belief that productivity equals value. If I am always doing, always producing, always achieving, then I am worthy. Then I have value. And trust me, I have been there. But sometimes constant doing is actually the nervous system trying to stay safe. These can all be patterns your body developed at some point as a form of protection. And simply recognizing this pattern can be the beginning of creating something different. And when I say recognizing the pattern, this is a process of witnessing and observing without judgment and without criticism. It's about observing and witnessing with compassion and understanding and support. So if you want to work with the energy of the Pisces new moon, here's a simple practice you can try. Find a quiet space where you're able to get comfortable and place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, and take a slow breath in. And let your exhale be slightly longer than your inhale. Then gently ask yourself this question: what part of me is asking for more safety right now? What part of me is asking to be tended to right now? There's nothing I need to fix, and there's nothing I need to do or to achieve or to prove. Simply pause and reflect. Where could your nervous system soften? Where in your body can you soften? Maybe it looks like more rest and taking the pressure off of yourself. Less urgency, clearer boundaries. Perhaps it's more time in nature, or simply more moments of stillness. This new moon is not only about setting intentions. It is also about creating the internal conditions where those intentions can grow, expand. And that often begins with regulation. And to remember that you are the agent of your life, you are the creator of your life. So for some people, this new moon may feel like the closing of a long chapter, a really, really long chapter. And maybe something that has been unfolding for years or even longer. Take what resonates and leave the rest. If you'd like a simple nervous system practice to support you during this new moon, I created a free resource you can download in the show notes. It walks you through some of the somatic practices I share in my nervous system work. So it is here to support you and to provide a space for you to work through these dynamics and to really practice getting present with how your nervous system operates and how your body communicates. You are, in a sense, forming a new relationship with your body and practicing what it takes to listen and to respond so that you are able to provide for yourself what you need. One thing I often remind the people I work with is that meaningful change rarely comes from pushing harder. It's not about doing more out there. It's actually about going within and taking stock of what is happening within. And so it often begins with supporting your nervous system so your body feels safe enough to shift and safe enough to receive, safe enough to take up space. This is also feeling safe enough to hold your own energy. Imagine that you are a container. And when safety increases, you become more resilient. Your emotional capacity expands. And your nervous system begins to experience what it feels like to trust. This is part of the deeper process of change and integration, right? So we're not just creating transformation, we are embodying transformation. And sometimes that process unfolds gradually. It's going to take as long as it's going to take. Part of the practice is learning to trust that timing. Your transformation cannot be forced. What it needs is a container and a safe space, allowing it to naturally evolve. You are simply creating an environment where this change can naturally occur and be embodied and experienced by you. And transformation is always possible. When you look back, I predict that you're going to appreciate the process and embodying what it felt like to transform. So if you're being called to explore this work more deeply, I created a free nervous system regulation resource that guides you through some of the practices I share in my work. You can download it through the link in the show notes. And if this episode resonated with you, you may also enjoy my Return to Safety offering, where we explore somatic practices that support your nervous system in shifting out of survival states and back toward regulation, embodied regulation that feels safe, clear, confident, authentic, a space for you to expand on who you naturally are and step into your authenticity and power. Thank you for being here and for taking this time to support yourself, your needs, and your nervous system, your unique energy. I am sending you oceans of love, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Yoniswell Podcast.